Good day everyone, good day sir. Today I will discuss capital budgeting, which is the most important topic in financial management field. This topic helps businesses where to or decide where to invest their money for long-term success. But before I start, let us know first about the learning objectives of this topic. So this topic aims that the students be able to understand the meaning of capital investment decisions and their importance in business operations. So define capital investment or capital budgeting, understand the objectives of capital budgeting, know different project classifications, describe the typical capital budgeting approval process, know the different factors affecting capital investment decision-making process, know the different capital budgeting screening or ranking criteria, explain the importance of time value of money in capital budgeting, and lastly, compute the future value and present value of cash flows occurring over several time periods. Okay, let's start to introduction. So managers must decide where to invest company money. Businesses invest in capital assets like buildings, machines, and equipment. So one of the most important decisions managers make is choosing kung asan nila i-invest ang ilang company money. Businesses often invest ka ng mga large amounts in capital assets, as I've said earlier, such as buildings, machines, and equipment. So these assets help generate income or maka-reduce sila cost for money more than 1 year lang. And because these investments involve a lot of money and maglast siya for a long time, making the wrong decisions also can lead to kanang losses or even mahulog siya bankruptcy. So this is where capital budgeting becomes more important. Capital budgeting is it is a process of evaluating long-term investments, project, and selecting the best ones. So it helps businesses gina-allocate niya ang mga limited resources and also choose projects that will bring the most benefits or maka-benefits in the future sa imong company. So next is the importance of capital budgeting. So we have long-term impact, forecasting future sales, too much investment, and too little investment. So when we say importance of capital budgeting, it is very crucial because it involves big long-term decisions that affect company's future. So these decisions are difficult to change once made. So they must be carefully planned. So kaning long-term impact, it is a capital budgeting decisions last for many years, like buying equipment na maglast siya more than 20 years. So mistakes can affect the company for a long time. And then forecasting future sales is that the companies must predict future demand before buying assets. So wrong predictions can also cause serious problems. And for too much investments naman is if a company buys too many assets, it will spend too much money and also mag-increase sa expenses. And also too little investments, if a company does not invest enough or doesn't invest enough, it may produce at higher cost, lose sila mga customers, and also may struggle to compete. So therefore, another importance of capital budgeting is proper timing, large amount of money involved, financing is needed, slow cash recovery, and high risk and uncertainty. So sa proper timing, assets must be purchased at the right time. Buying too late can also cause delays and higher prices, while buying too early naman may also lead to unused capacity and some losses. So for the large amount of money involved is that capital budgeting requires huge investments. Then ang financing is needed naman, companies often need loans or mga other funding to buy assets. And sa slow cash recovery, it takes a long time pa siya to recover the money invested. And for the high risk and uncertainty, these decisions involve high risk because future conditions are So therefore capital budgeting is is very important because it involves large investments. Decisions last many years. Mistakes can cause major losses. It helps companies stay competitive, and also it involves high risk and careful planning. So capital budgeting also helps companies mag-decide on how to invest large amounts of money wisely for long-term success and para ma-avoid to nila mga costly nga mga mistakes. So mato siya. Let us move on to project classification. So what this is all about. Project classification means grouping investment projects into categories so management can decide how much analysis is needed before mag-spend sila kwarta. So since analyzing projects cost time and money, companies do detailed analysis for big and risky projects, use simple analysis for small and less risky projects. So this helps companies save time, reduce costs, and make better decisions. So, planning project classifications, in simple terms, management is responsible for deciding where to invest company funds. However, analyzing every project in detail can be expensive or mahal siya and time consuming as well. And because of this, companies classify projects into different categories. So, some projects mag-require sila detailed analysis due to the fact that they involve large investments and mga high risk. So other projects are smaller naman and need only mga simple lang evaluation. So by classifying projects, companies can save time, reduce the costs, and also make better investment decisions. And businesses classify projects into different categories to make decisions easier. Let us move on to the replacement, maintenance of business. So this category consists of expenditures necessary to replace worn out or damaged equipment used to produce profitable costs. So what this means, unsa maning replacement maintenance. So this type of project is about replacing old or kanang mga worn out equipment so the company may continue operating normally. So this replacements are necessary, not optional, because without them, like any production may stop, work becomes lower, and also may increase. And usually companies quickly approve these projects because they are needed to maintain daily operations. So ang replacement or maintenance of business projects daw involves replacing old or kanang mga worn out equipment to continue normal operations. So these investments are kanang necessary siya for the company to keep producing goods and services efficiently. So the main questions managements ask are, should we continue producing this product or service, or should we continue using our current equipment? So management usually asks two questions, and most of the time the answer is yes, due to the fact that because of this, replacement decisions are usually kanang approved quickly without kanang mga detailed analysis. So replacement means replacing worn out equipment to continue operations. Like for example, a company replaces old computers with new ones. So, ano siya example of kanang replacement. Next, under the replacement, we had cost reduction. So, saan siya? This category includes expenditures to replace kanang serviceable but obsolete equipment. So, the purpose of these expenditures is to lower the cost of labor, materials, or other items such as electricity. These decisions are somewhat more discretionary, so a more detailed analysis is generally required to support expenditure. So, unsa maning cost reduction, what this means. So in simple terms, this type of project involves replacing equipment that still works but is already outdated na siya. So the goal is to reduce costs such as labor costs, mga material costs, electricity costs, and also other operating expenses. Unlike kanang maintenance replacement, this type is not always necessary siya. So management must study it carefully to before deciding. Then because companies are spending money to save money in the future, they usually do more detailed analysis. Like for example, kanang buying energy efficient machines para ma-reduce na itong electricity expenses. Therefore, replacements for cost reduction involves replacing equipment that still working but already outdated. So the purpose of this replacement is to reduce costs such as labor, materials, and electricity. And then unlike maintenance replacement, this type of decision is optional siya. And because of this, management must carefully analyze whether the new equipment will really reduce costs. Therefore, more detailed analysis is required siya before magbuhat ng decisions, because this involves replacing old equipment to reduce costs. Let us move on to expansion of existing products or markets. So this category includes expenditures to increase the output of existing products or to expand outlets or distribution facilities in markets now being served. So unsa man siya? This type of project is about growing the business by producing more of existing products, expanding to more stores or locations, and improving distribution and delivery. So these decisions are kanang more difficult siya because companies must ma-predict nila itong mga future demand. So if the company makes the wrong decision, products may not sell, money may be wasted, masayang ang kwarta, and losses may occur. And because of this, companies nag-conduct sila detailed analysis, and top management makes the final decision. So these decisions are more complex because they require explicit considerations of future demand in the firm's product markets. And also mistakes are more likely. That is why a more detailed analysis is required, and the final decision is made at a higher level within the firm. So therefore, expansion projects increase product, open new branches, expand markets. For example, sa ganiha, mag-open sila new store branch. So kaning expansion projects involves increasing productions or kanang opening new branches. Like for example, mag-open sila new branch or new store na sa another city. So expansion of existing products or markets involves increasing in the production of current products or expanding to new locations within the same market lang. So these decisions are more complex, as I've said earlier, no, because the company must predict the future demand. So if same sa gingon ako kaniya, if the company makes the wrong decisions, it may lead to losses. That is why expansion projects require detailed analysis, and the final decision is kanang usually made by top management. And that concludes my report. Thank you.